Hi guys, and welcome back to our channel. I'm saying our, but I'm on my own today, which is a bit daunting for me, so feel free to bear with me. Amy is currently at work, but I really wanted to make this video, and it's been so requested by so many of you guys on our Instagram for me to do another, well, I think it's actually my first year review. For anyone who doesn't know, I am currently at Loughborough University. I've just finished my first year doing sport and exercise psychology. However, I did change my course at the end of last year, so this time last year I changed course. So it's basically my second year at uni, but my first year review, if that makes sense. It's not really talked about changing course a lot, like it's a lot more normal than you think it is. So I really wanted to make this video to help anyone out there, but also this is going to contain so much generic uni advice, freshers advice, just life advice. We're just going to have a good chat. And me and Amy are going to do another video together, thank God, later on. So if you do have any more questions that isn't answered by this video or some of our old videos, which I'll link at the top, the most useful ones, especially the accommodation one, I know a lot of people will want to know about our experience and about our hall advice and stuff like that, so I would definitely link that here for you to go watch. But yeah, if there's anything else you want us to answer, leave it in the comments below. So I think what we'll start with is the academics first, because obviously you go to uni for lots of reasons, but you do go for a degree. Some people like to ignore that fact. I'm joking, but no, we do go for a degree at the end of the day. And I feel like for me, after I'd had my first year doing, I actually did history, for anyone who doesn't know. This might get confusing, so yeah, I started off doing history at Loughborough Uni. I'd already done a year out to resit to get the grades I needed for Loughborough. This is just something that I was really set on going to this university. I love it so much overall, and yeah, I definitely made the right decision to do that extra year and to work hard to get where I wanted to be. Definitely talked a lot about that in previous vlogs though, and we did have our A-level results day experience video that will help a lot of you out, because we had a fair share of issues, me and Aim, but we've got here eventually, so it's so surreal that we can now do these videos and help people. So yeah, it was this time last year I decided to change course. It wasn't anything against history, it was just I did not love it enough to do 4 years or 3 years. At the time it was going to be 4, to stick out for as long as, and there's been various reasons which I've again already spoken about in different vlogs and the Twin Talk app when I spoke about changing my course, because so many people were like, why did you do it? Because I was very good at history, not to flex, but it was my best A-level subject. I did get an A star in it, and I was very interested in what I had done at A-level and certain modules that I did throughout first year. But I think it's fair to say I enjoyed the social and the whole Loughborough experience as opposed to just loving my course, and that was something really important for me, to go to uni and do something that I was really passionate about and that aligned with everything that I wanted to do. And basically, long story short, when I found out I could have done sports psychology having not done a psychology A-level, it kind of fell from there. But again, I'll answer all the course specific questions and why I changed and anything about changing at the end of the video. I'm just going to get into the overall how I found it as a first year, because that's what I was. I didn't change, like I started again. None of my courses modules overlapped at all, so I did have to start and do the year again. But I don't think you should compare yourself to anyone, like you're on your own path. Like it's not like you're a year behind again, even though certain people can try and make it seem that way. It's definitely not. Like, if you just got to do what's right for you. And essentially I was like 2 years behind, if we're going to go there, but I didn't see it as that. I saw it as that I was challenging myself, I was putting my interests first, and yeah, it was definitely a challenge. But on a whole, obviously Corona has influenced the course, the second semester, a lot, and my experience on the course and stuff like that, so I'm going to try and refer to it whilst I was there, but obviously it would be wrong to just ignore the whole situation and how that's impacted my studies and everything like that. Overall, I really found the course really engaging. It wasn't very sporty, I will say that, but I already knew that going into it, because obviously I'd done so much more research with it being a change, and I really needed to make sure it was going to be a good decision. But yeah, a lot of people were quite surprised at how much of a lack of sport there was for a sports psychology first year, just the way that works. And then when you go throughout the course, that's when you specialise more and more. So in second year, we'll do more specialised areas around sport and exercise psychology. But for the first year, you did a lot of pure psychology modules, which I found really hard, but also really interesting. I will say now that, because this is going to be a completely honest review, I struggled. A massive difference for me from going from history a big jump in itself. But with the teaching and how it was at Loughborough, history had a lot of seminars, and I really loved that. I found that was the time to engage. There was probably like under 30 of you in the room. You could really have debates, you could understand more, you go into more depth, and you get to know your tutor. Whereas psychology, a lot of the core modules were taught lectures, and like 100% lectures. Like history had a lot of lectures as well, but the seminars, I really look forward to them. Like a lot of, well, most of them, I did find really interesting, and then I was able to get more one-on-one support. But yeah, that was just personally for me, because it was so daunting and you had so much content to cover, and obviously you have to do so much independent reading. But yeah, personally, I would have liked to have more seminars. Now, whether that changes with the current circumstances and going back next year when it's going to be blended learning, and hopefully not all just online. Yes, it was challenging, yes, some parts were overwhelming, but because I was interested in it, I think it didn't seem like I had to put that much work in, because I actually enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the process of studying. So I did get into my course, and that is exactly what I wanted out from uni. I wanted to really get passionate about it. I wanted to engage with extra reading that wouldn't feel like that much of a chore. I mean, whichever course you do, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be difficult, you're not gonna enjoy it 24/7. So I feel like there was a lot of pressure that I put on myself to be like really into sports psychology, having made the jump, and like to obviously do well, because I was like, well, I did really well at history, so then I was like, I don't want to have made the wrong decision. In terms of exams, it was very different. I worked so much harder this year, and I think again that was stuff sort of to do with the pressure that I put on myself to obviously do well, but I also wanted to do well for me. But yeah, me and Aim have always just put so much pressure on ourselves to do well, but it's just the way we work, and I enjoy and I take a lot of pride in doing well. So even though I was in first year again, and first year doesn't count, do not let anyone, I've said this so many times, don't let anyone try and play that down for you, because if it counts to you. A massive tip for everyone watching, regardless of what stage you're at uni, ideally you'd still be in first year, but like not all my grades have been good, and my biggest advice, like obviously we've done an exam reaction results for semester 1, which I surprised myself with how well I did, but again I did work really hard. But anyway, get used to feedback, get comfortable with getting feedback, do not take it personally, see it as an opportunity to grow. My grades, like recently I've got 50 on a massive coursework essay, which I put my soul into. Still a bit bitter about it. No, I'm joking. No, this is what I mean. You need to get comfortable with not doing well all the time, especially in first year. Like if you got a first for every single piece of work you did in first year, you wouldn't learn. I mean, you'd learn how amazing you were, but you wouldn't actually learn. And then say, for example, you got to second year and you really messed up, or you had a big setback in comparison to your other grades, you're not going to know how to deal with it. Whereas if in first year you've made some mistakes and you've been able to grow and improve, I think that is the biggest. There's like a big saying where it's like fail fast, and like I feel like that's such applicable to uni, because like first year is the time where your grades don't actually count towards your degree in that sense, but they do count if you take pride in your work and like for placements, etc. But yeah, get comfortable with failing, because I wish someone had sat me down and been like, right, it's not the end of the world if every piece of coursework isn't your best. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I really hope that helps, and definitely look at turning in feedback. No matter what piece it is, no matter what grade, it's feedback. It is valuable. At university, at school, you take it for granted, all that feedback you get for literally nothing. You just get it handed on a plate to you, all this feedback, all these improvements. And at uni it's a bit more hard to get that, so when you do, make the most of that. On the whole, academics, I really enjoyed my course. Obviously don't be beating yourself up, because I feel like this second semester, due to uni's closing, I don't think anyone's enjoyed their course as much as they were hoping to, or been engaged with their course. I really struggled with online learning. I know a lot of people did. Virtual day in the life at Loughborough vlogs, you will have seen the stress that coursework put me through. But like I said, I've come out with some not so good grades and some really good grades that I'm really proud of. It's impossible to cover everything, but academics, I was really impressed. I love the department. I don't think I have had the typical first year social life again. That was never the plan for me though. Like I'd had a really great first year when I did history. I'd been in folk egg. I'd had like still with a lot of up and downs, but I did feel like I had a great, the typical Loughborough Hall's amazing, unique experience, and folk egg was a massive part of that. So this year I was actually in a house in town, not in halls, but I think I went to 2 freshers nights, so I affiliated with folk egg. and maybe got, I can't even remember. This year has been a blur. Like, I can't believe it's gone so quickly. So it's kind of a blur, but I think before we actually started uni, because we moved into the house a bit before all the freshers came, and yeah, that was really, really fun. That was a great time, because it was like we were at uni, I was going to work in the day and then out in the evenings, which was really, really nice. And then freshers kind of hit, lectures started, and I really wanted to take this year not more seriously, but I wanted to take it seriously. I'd like kind of found my feet at Loughborough, and I wasn't really that fussed about going out. Like, I wanted to make an effort with people on my course and try and meet a lot of people, but at the same time I didn't want to do that the whole freshers every night out. I didn't want to get ill, even though I ended up getting freshers flu. That is not a myth, by the way. Awful. I think I got the equivalent of freshers flu probably like 4 times. Like, I was ill a lot this year. So freshers wise, I didn't partake as a fresher. I did like 2 nights out, like I said, but yeah, and they were at the union, and yeah, they were a bit messy, I'm not gonna lie. But after that, I was so busy. I didn't really have time to go out, and I was like, me and Aim were both so busy, and we love being busy, and sometimes we should have probably gone out a bit more, but personally for us, like, you don't have to. Like, I still met the loveliest girls on my course, and that was, we didn't meet on a night out. We always tried to plan a cocktail night out, but we never went out together. So I don't think, like, if you're someone who doesn't drink, or someone who doesn't want to go out the whole of freshers, like, don't feel like you're on your own, because there will be so many people in your boat. It just probably won't feel like that with your hall. But I would say still make the most of everything you can, especially in your proper first year. Yeah, just make the most of everything. But like I said, me and Aim were very busy. We didn't really have time for hangovers. We get the worst hangovers ever. So I didn't really have time for that. Like, we were so busy with our social media and society, which I'll get onto as well, because obviously that's a big part of it. And I also joined lacrosse because it was really important for me to, like, I was doing first year again, so I was like, right, I want to make the most of all these things I didn't do in first year, and one of them was I didn't join a team sport. Definitely recommend joining a club sport. Like, it wasn't the most expensive, but that being said, I didn't go that often, so it probably worked out very expensive for when I did go. But yeah, really enjoyed that. Societies wise, that was something I didn't do in first year, and I put my life and soul into setting Train and Gain up since August last year. So yeah, that's what I was very busy with, as well as working. I think that's a big part of your social life. Like, everyone always says, like, your work friends are different to your actual friends, and it's so true. Like, I feel like that's the same with ambassadors. Like, it was just nice to have more familiar faces that you'd see around campus, and I worked with some of the loveliest, funniest people, so I really liked that, and I really got stuck into work. But yeah, societies wise, we have actually just won. Again, not to flex, but very proud moment. We won Best New Society of 2020, which was so, like, I had no idea they were even doing an award ceremony until, obviously, it was virtual, but it was like a day before and I found out. And yes, very proud moment. So big up Train and Gain. I've had so many questions, is it still going to be a society next year? Yes, I hope so. Providing we are back at campus, yes, it will definitely be still running, and the plan is for it to be running for as many years to come. So yeah, that was a huge part of my first year, was setting up my own society with Aim and with some of the most amazing girls on our committee. And yeah, that was a lot of learning. That took a lot of time. Like, a lot of the smaller things took ages, and just like managing people, working with new people, liaising with the union, everything like that. It was really a big learning for me. I remember it being so daunting, like, how on earth is this going to fit into our schedule, because semester 1 was just crazy. It goes by like that, like, literally it will fly by. So I'd say you definitely want to try and make the most of every opportunity that comes your way, but get comfortable with saying no to things. Like, everyone tells you in first year you've got to say yes to everything, then figure out where it all fits in, which I partly do agree with. But I was speaking to a prospective student the other day about this. Like, don't feel pressured to do everything. Like, you are going to need time to adjust. You're going to need time to just process all this change that's happening in your life when you get to university and you meet all these new people. Like, be okay with that, like, honestly. Like, and also, whilst we're on this topic, I feel like there's so much pressure to have, like, the best 4 years or 3 years of your life at uni, which is so true, and it probably will be when you look back. But at the time, it's still like, you go for life experience, it's the uni experience you go for as well, and at the end of the day, like, life experience is not always happy. Like, you're under so much pressure to be enjoying it, and it's like you've worked so hard and you're now at the uni you've dreamt of going to, and like you deserve to be there, but then sometimes you'll have a really bad day, and that's like, it's like almost not normalised, and it's like at the end of the day it's still life. Like, you're still gonna have so many highs, but then again you'll have lows, and that's completely normal. I definitely talk about this one because it's part of my social life and my experience. The ski trip. Now, I went on the Loughborough ski trip with just one of my closest friends, and I have actually met some of the nicest people, and one of my best friends now is someone that I met from that ski trip, and I just can't even believe like that is even a thing. Like, I'm so glad I went on that, and I met so many people, and I definitely think I would definitely recommend it. Obviously I probably won't recommend it for this year just because I don't think everything will be open, but definitely for final year I would love to go again, just because it was so much fun. You're with so many new people. Again, it's a massive uni experience like that I'll never be able to ever put into words properly, but it was so much fun, and although that had its own up and downs, like, I would definitely recommend it, and I loved it. So that was kind of like my social highlights. Definitely weren't all high. Like, sometimes you do feel really lonely at uni. Like, I'm saying that, and I had my twin in my house at uni, so it's completely normal to feel like that, and you can be so busy and surrounded by all these people, but yet still feel lonely sometimes, and that is completely normal. I will say now, obviously, we've already spoken about this in a lot of our uni vlogs, because we want to push that it's okay to ask for help, but me and Aim both made the most of some of the mental health support services on campus, which are phenomenal in our experience. Obviously this is going to be preference and personal, but yeah, as soon as I realised I needed to ask for help, and I did, which took longer than it should have, but yeah, I really made the most of the services available, and I would urge you to do the same if you feel like you do need it, regardless of what the problem is. Walking to lectures, I want to talk about this. I was got used to the fact that in a lot of scenarios I would walk to lectures on my own, and I want to normalise that, because that's completely okay to do. Don't feel like you have to have this massive group of friends that you always meet, because some people will have that and that's completely fine, but a lot of the time if you're in a hall where there's not many of your course mates and you want to meet up, that will involve walking on your own. But I never felt alone. Like, I kind of liked it. It was kind of like just me time, because I was so busy being here, there, back and forth from home and to campus, to town, like everywhere. That was like my time to put on my little podcast and walk to my lectures. Normally it would be in a rush because I was very late, but then I'd meet my friends in the lecture theatre. So yeah, don't feel like if you're on your own, it's completely normal, especially when you get there. Like, yes, it's nice to be with people when you're in freshers, and I know a lot of people just try and gravitate and cling to people, but again, make sure they're the right people, because people who you surround yourself with at uni and who you live with will have a massive impact on your time. So yeah, I'd just be wary about that. So summer nights at uni in Loughborough are just so much fun, so I feel like they've just been robbed from everyone and freshers, so I'm really gutted about that, because I probably would have gone out a lot more in the summer term, and it would have been a lot more chilled out. And also going out when it gets to Christmas, it's cold, it's dark, you know. Sometimes you've had I had a lot of 4 till 6 p.m. That was another thing I didn't like about my course. If I had to be really picky, there was a lot of 4 till 6s when there was no need. You'd have all these days off or free time in the day, and then there'd be a 4 till 6, and it was like, no, I need my dinner. And then to think about going out after that, no. After how busy we were, but yeah. So yeah, I do feel like I would have gone out a lot more in the summer term, but like, you shouldn't wait for that. So if going out means a lot to you, then just make the most of it. But yeah, to summarise my experience, I say I've definitely learned a huge amount from this year about myself, about other people, about my course, about my interests, about how I learn best and interact. And yeah, I would say it's definitely been a very unique experience, especially this term, having to do it all online. It's not been great, but we will see. So now I'm going to get into the specific questions about my course. I'm really aware that this has been a very long video already, but I really hope this has been as helpful as possible. Okay, so the first question is, I'm hoping to do sports psych next year, sport and exercise psychology. Any pre-reading or prep advice? This is hard because I didn't do any prep, and that was like, I hadn't even done a psychology A level. So I think don't worry would be my biggest tip, like, because when you get here, like, all of your introductory lectures in week 1 will outline all the requirements, all the key texts that you can go ahead and get from the library. Please, please, please do not go out and buy your textbooks. That's what I did with history, and I spent so much money on textbooks. All of the key texts are available in the library or available online, or they also have loads and loads of book sales run by 2nd years and 3rd years. I wouldn't worry too much about pre-reading. That isn't, I would just say do little and often when you start. Don't put it on like you want to be looking forward to uni. Don't be bogged down before you even get there with all the work. How did you make the choice that you wanted to change course? Not easily and not quickly. It was definitely the longest, that was probably the hardest part, was the decision making. Like, the actual transfer was quite straightforward, even though it was such a big jump. So obviously they weren't in the same department. Like history, a jump between history and politics, for example, would have been relatively easy just because they're in the same department, and first years are taught a lot of the similar modules. Whereas because this was a big leap, it involved talking to both departments, talking to people that did sports psychology, or my friends in backkkk that did it. They were so supportive and really helped me get in touch with the people I needed to in the psychology department. And then it was a case of talking to family. I remember still ringing up my mum like, we've got a problem, I might want to change. And then it was a case of like, it took a good month and a half, I think. And that was on top of revising and finishing my history exams. And then obviously I got my grade back. I'd done really, really well. I'd got a first, and I was like, is this the right decision, or do I just see it out? But I think for me, who's someone that doesn't know what they want to do in, like, definitely when they graduate, I would rather spend and dedicate that time and passion into something that I enjoy and that aligns with my wider interests. Did you feel older? I'm going to be going to uni 21 and I'm scared I'm going to be a mature student. I did feel older and I didn't. Like, when it actually came down to it, some of the girls in my course, like, they were both 18 when I met them, and I couldn't tell. Like, I generally couldn't tell. It's not really a big thing when you get to uni. Like, age really doesn't matter. Like, a lot of people will tell you that, but that's because it doesn't. Because especially in freshers, you're literally all in the same boat. You're all wanting to meet new people, and predominantly you're there to get a really good experience. So I would say please don't worry, because a lot of people do defer a year anyway, or they do gap years, or all sorts of reasons. A lot of people will find themselves like in the year above, but they're literally, that goes out the window. Like, there isn't really a thing of year above or whatever. If anything, it was a good thing because you had like more life uni experience. But yeah, getting through the year, I would just say try and have as much fun as possible. Try and take in everything you can from your degree and get really passionate about it. And there's so many opportunities as well through the CVA, which is the coaching volunteering platform at Loughborough, which have so many sports psychology like events or workshops or masterclasses. So definitely make use of those, which will make you stand out as well on your CV. What's it like knowing you've done a next year? Has it made an impact socially? I'd say at home, socially wise, like my friends at home, they've all, well, this year most of them are graduating, compared to like me. It was quite funny. I was like, so you're graduating this year and I'm in first year, like, where is that, how has that even happened? But like, obviously I didn't plan for it, and it's just one of those things where you just have to block out what everyone else is doing and focus on you, because that's what's going to benefit you in the long run and your happiness. Was it difficult to make friends when you move course? I changed course too. Did you find it hard or easy to make friends? Again, I think this is quite situational and it will be like really dependent, but I think I was really lucky in the fact I was starting my new course when everyone was starting uni, so like in freshers, and kind of like it was like level playing field almost, because everyone was in the same boat again. Everyone was like in that making new friends, wanting to meet new people mode. It does wear off though, which is really sad, I find, because I always try and like will speak to someone if I sit next to them in a lecture, like regardless of whether it's in freshers or not, just because I really like to meet new people and I'm quite a personable person. But yeah, I was really lucky on the first day. I met the most loveliest girl and we were literally talking for ages. Saskia, if you're watching, you will know. But yeah, that was just so lovely and just really helps calm the nerves when you just end up chatting to someone, but then obviously your lecture starts and it kind of gets in the way. Yeah, I did make some really, really lovely course friends on sports psychology, and I absolutely adore them. I will just say, like, doing this year has definitely been a lot more rewarding, especially when I do well. It's been a lot more rewarding than it ever was for history, just because I didn't feel at all times I was being really challenged or pushed or things like that. Obviously I found some parts of my history degree so hard and I had so many breakdowns about it. But yeah, this year I've been doing something that was for myself and not for any of the reasons, like not because I'd done an A-level in it, not because I didn't know what course to do, not because I didn't know what I wanted to do after I graduated. Like I just really did it for myself and what I believed at the time was right. I probably won't enjoy all areas of sports psychology. Like I'm sure there'll be certain modules, for example, biological psychology, not for me. Not for me. But now I know that, and you'll go through your course and be able to tailor it to your interests and your passions when you've got scope to and when the optional modules arrive. I'm going to end the video here. I've talked so much and I really hope you found it as useful as possible. Like I said before, me and Aim will be doing another generic Loughborough Q&A, uni advice, freshers advice videos, so please comment down below any other questions. I have seen all the questions you sent in on our Instagram and they will all be answered in that next video as well. So yeah, please don't forget to give this video a big like and smash the subscribe button and turn our notification bell on. Next video I'm sure we will both be back together because this has felt really weird. I don't know how YouTubers do it on their own, I really don't. But yeah, thanks guys, we'll see you in the next vid.